Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very interesting news to go cover over here, where people are now trying to go and involve and make the next great best thing when it comes to PlayStation, because they're trying to make something a little bit more fun to go look at. Now, as you guys probably know, there's a new game coming out that's very peculiar, especially on the backside region, where it's going to be probably one of the more bootylicious games to go and say at the end of the day. Now, this game's gonna be called for Stellar Blade, which is now getting universal praise and how big it might be in the background of the game itself, and while they're trying to prioritize the game somewhat differently, and how the future PlayStation games are evolving to a very round way, to say the least. And I'm gonna go talk about this because I feel like everything about this game is shaping up to be probably one of the bigger and more well-rounded games out there when it comes to most games in the PlayStation universe. We're gonna go talk about this. Make sure you guys are subscribed with notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. We also have the Amazon links, we have the Weeble links, so you want to sign up and get a bunch of free stock. And of course, let's go talk about this lovely game that is now getting a little bit more attention than we'd all kind of be expecting. So, if you guys haven't heard about this one, this game is called Stellar Blade. This is going to be one of the more PlayStation 5 exclusive games. You guys want to see a little cool little trailer, I can give you a little bit and piece of it. But basically, the game itself is somewhat kind of the relevant towards Nier, where this kind of keeps like the vibe I'm getting, like futuristic, utopian, kind of cool anime protagonist type style, very shiny outfits, everything else in between, and I think the game so far has always looked really good. But right now, the game is getting a lot more attention for things that you're not really expecting. Now, as you guys can look and see, there's a lot more other cool merits to the game itself. Looking at the character models, look at all the unique designs, the futuristic designs, the tattoos, whatever this guy in a random tree might go and be. But as well, a lot of people are putting their attention on something I think most gamers usually like, just depending if it's in their games or not, and that's typically on what you're looking at when you're playing your character. And we've had like now some pretty famous quotes coming from the actual game director stating, it's kind of always been my mindset when it comes to MMOs, while I usually pick female characters in most games, etc., is that if you're going to be playing a game for a very long time, you're going to be enjoying the game experience as well, you want to be looking at something pleasant. And we had a pretty nice quote over here when it came to the actual game director discussing this and talking about this, where they put their priorities where most people are probably having their eyes gravitate towards. Now, when it comes to games, etc., I want to have a good gameplay. I want to make sure the story is all good. I don't necessarily care too much on how the character models look like, but sometimes it is a nice little cream of the crop if it's all looking nice. And when it comes to weeby games especially, in comparison to games like Nier or whatever, you sometimes gotta go let the games go and cook. Now, I do believe it's going to be probably one of the more sought-after games, at least in my opinion. I think it gives a lot of Nier vibes. I like the gameplay style, kind of mixture of like a Dark Souls-y type style aesthetic, and of course, I always love the futuristic styles too as well. But as I mentioned, there's other various games too, such as nigh, that have been really popular, especially in like the weeby market, mobile market, where some of the assets are more focused on than others, and they kind of lead towards a lot of attention towards the game and game itself, and I think most people are kind of okay with it. We're now actually going and seeing statements over here from the game directors and makers trying to highlight and showcase up on how the game itself is going to be a little bit more different on the PlayStation side. So we've been talking about this now, where the game itself is now actually getting higher rated, where Stellar Blade is now actually rated 18+ for nudity and also excessive violence. Now, when it comes to most video games, I don't mind the excessive violence. You know, the N-word, I could kind of go a little bit on the weird side for that. That's not a little bit worse than it did, but you guys know what I mean, just for the YouTube algorithm. But when it comes to excessive violence, I'm kind of cool with that. The more, you know, fighting going on, the more Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Max Payne, whatever it might be type style, I'm always down for. But when it comes to the more looty stuff, that's where things are a little bit more on the intriguing side. Saying it was recently revealed that Stellar Blade, the upcoming post-apocalyptic saucy slasher, which is a very intriguing thing to call it a saucy slasher, was given Korea's most mature rating by the Game Management Committee. It's yet to be rated by the likes of PEGI or the ESRB, but I'm assuming it'll receive an 18+ mature rating in those markets too. The document posted by Korea's Game Management Committee stated that the driving criteria for this rating was the presence of nudity and excessive violence in the game, saying that's been drawn a lot of attention in the recent weeks following the game trailer's extended trailer reveal, which I showed you guys over there at the PlayStation State of Play showcase. In the trailer, which outlined the core principles of the story, we get an in-depth look at the game's protagonist, Eve. She's a scantily clad and athletic warrior with otherworldly sword skills and a wardrobe bursting at the seams. The clothing makes her burst at the seams. In the report published by the Game Management Committee in Korea, it was stated that Stellar Blade exhibits excessive violence, including decapitation and mutilation, and the other female character is appearing naked as well. In terms used by the GMC to describe this was explicit, expression of body exposure, which is kind of crazy because I feel like the maker of this game is enjoying this. He's like reveling in this, whereas just enjoying the fact of like people are paying attention to this one too. Where they even had this quote stating that they had special attention paid to their backside during her creation, that her body is modeled directly on a Korean models. There will be a diverse array of outfits available. If you guys saw the trailer, kind of mixing up too as well, and none of them are also behind paywalls too, where this kind of goes and shows that the priorities on the PlayStation and the game developers too as well. Where I've had a chance to go and discuss that they had to really put a big special attention on the backside itself. Now, this is always intriguing to me because there is always the various levels of gamers. You have like the nice random folks out there playing Fortnite. You have the nice random folks out there enjoying racing games. You have the people who enjoy story games, The Last of Us, dramatic retellings. You have people who just like to go play like 2K, Call of Duty. And sometimes you like the folks who want to go and play some really weeby games with some cool outfits from the characters themselves and just enjoying the ride. So they actually had a chance to go and say to Games Radar, the game director Hyung Tae Kim says that the studio intentionally put the heavier focus on the backside of this character. When it comes to the design, we put special attention on the back of the character because the player is always facing the back of the character when they're playing, which is a smart man. Priorities, and you kind of know where the eyes lie. Kim said that's what they see the most of, so we thought that this was pretty important. Kim added that when looking at a character in a game, he wants to play as someone who is better looking than himself. And it's also kind of nice too, because you're going to be playing the game for 20, 30, 40, 50 hours. You always want to have something nice to look at. That's what I want, he said. I don't want to see something normal. Let's see some big booties. I want to see something more ideal. I think that's very important in a form of entertainment, which, a lot of you can kind of get with. Mainly when it comes to games nowadays, like, a lot of games are very basic. Like, I don't mind having character creation sliders because I always make the most heinous, disgusting things when it comes to most of my, like, Dark Souls runs or whatever it might be. My Power World character looks like they have been through a lot of really, really traumatic stuff, in all honesty. But when it comes to all the other various characters, I want to have something fun. I want to have the characters look cool. And not even just for women when it comes to this. I don't want to come off, as like a perv or whatever. But like when it comes to any character, I want them to look aesthetically pleasing. I want them to look like fun to look at. Whether it comes from like a Superman character, Spider-Man, where like the suit actually looks cool and get to change the cosmetics, or something like Stellar Blade, where all the outfits look cool in the character. Or even things like, say, God of War. Now, even on the base level, I want to make sure someone like Kratos looks cool, like looks fun to play. You kind of put yourself in the position of the character, you want to enjoy it. And I think that's like a big thing these devs are kind of pushing towards. Now, I'm not necessarily sure. We want to make sure the 100% focus in the future of the PlayStation is just only on the backside or whatever it might be for random characters, but like you gotta mix it up. You gotta enjoy it. And it does kind of look like the gameplay itself for the game looks cool. Like I think I've enjoyed the game. It's actually one of the more anticipated games for me. And they're also saying this is also entertainment targeted for adults, and I do think it's kind of a nice mindset to have. If every game's always trying to be watered down, or every movie, every force of entertainment is always trying to be watered down into like this Marvel aesthetic, it's not as fun. Like no one wants to have the same rated T for teen where it gets a little bit edgy, but not the full throttle, because it's not like the game experience not everyone wants. Same thing with like, you don't want to have everything be E for everyone. You don't want to have like the Fortnite color where you can't even swear or even have any other various aspects of your characters, because like what's the point? It makes everything kind of feel the same. It makes the experience not fun. So like, why would we like it? That's kind of how I feel at the end of the day. So the game itself is still scheduled to go and be released on April 26th of 2024. I think it's going to be an exclusive game for PlayStation, and I'm getting kind of hyped up for it myself. As we got through the trailer too as well. So I have a little something in my throat. As we go through all this type of stuff, the game itself just looks cool. I like want to play this. I want to enjoy it. I think it's something that people would like. As I'm over here dying in the background.
What are you going to do after you defeat?
But when it comes to all these types of videos, it's like, I want this. I want to have this next level game. I want to be able to enjoy the game itself. I want to have something different, in my life. And if everything's just the same game over and over and over again, it's not going to be fun. Like, game will get really dull over time. And this is why I think it looks and seems like a fun experience. It's something different. It's something in the future. It's something different types of characters and cool models. And now you might have some cool, crazy big backsides or whatever, but you also have a random samurai guy with a red mask. You have a dancing robot with random tape. You have different outfits that go in a lot throughout the game, and it kind of lets you go and embrace the character a little bit more. So I have no idea what that guy is with all his wires, but I can't wait to go and actually play this game. I love Nier, probably one of my more favorite games out there in the entire gaming experience. It's unique, it's different, and you can kind of go and just appreciate and kind of touch on something new in the gaming sphere. Now, sorry for the coughing, it was mine, but I hope you guys can go and appreciate the weebiness too as well, because I think it just seems cool. I want something new. I enjoy the graphics. I enjoy the animations. I enjoy the details. The gameplay looks cool. The UI looks cool. And I'm kind of hyping up this game, at least myself. So give me your thoughts and comments and everything down below. And I do think PlayStation has some pretty intriguing priorities in the future. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitching down below. We got the Weebo links too as well, in case you guys want to check those on out. And I appreciate y'all for watching here in the first place.